Okay, this is Spencer, your Tampa Bay wallpaper installer, coming to you with the last frame. Well, maybe I'll do an overall after this is done. But I believe we're on step 6. Okay. So, I'm on my last sheet. Now, as you can see, I mean, it's beautiful paper. I mean, it speaks for itself. I'm going to bring you closer. I might get in the way, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it, all right? Let me move you over to the middle. So I'm going to join those seams together. And when you put the paper up, of course, the paper has glue on it, right? So you would want either someone at the bottom to receive the paper so as to keep it off of your already hung grass cloth. Very important. You know how you carry your paper over to the wall and you have it folded, right? Well, your wall may have glue on it because you may have, put a little glue on the wall. Keep it, I've done that before where, all right, I put a little glue on the wall and then you come over with the wallpaper and then what? You got glue on the face of the wallpaper. Not grass cloth, but it's bad enough when you got to wipe it off. So I don't want it to happen to you. All right. So now, what I did was I cut out a piece of the grass cloth from the scrap because your fingers have a certain amount of oil, whatever else is on your hands, even if they're clean, And so I don't mind manipulating the paper with my hands, but when I'm going to press in the same particular area over and over and over again, I want the contact to be with the grass cloth itself. So I'm pressing down on the seam with blue grass cloth. Oh, this stuff really sets up. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you in this video. When you're working those seams, right, to get them in place, I put them in place with my fingers and then I'm going to press them down with the grass cloth. Press down with my palm. What I'm doing is just setting the seam in place. Okay, let me move the rag out of your way. See what I'm doing? So that the grass cloth is making contact with that seam. That's the way I do it. If you don't want to do it like that, that's fine. But I figure that it's better that the grass cloth touch itself and that I touch it the least. It's very sensitive, this stuff. It's very sensitive to anything else on it. And as I look down the seam, it's really beautiful from the top. I don't know how it looks like from the side, but the seam is, I can't see the seam from up here. But with grass cloth, you got to see it from all angles to know whether or not your seam is showing. That's the thing. I'm keeping a damp cloth up here just to wipe off my hands constantly. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you touch the grass cloth with a damp finger, that's not going to matter. But even in that case, I want it to be, I want it to be mostly dry. You know what I'm saying? A little damp, it'll give you some traction so your fingers can move this stuff into place. I mean, look, you need to, the directions will tell you one thing, right? It's really like a disclaimer from the manufacturer. Don't do this, don't do that. But you know what you can get away with when you're installing this stuff. See, I'm touching it gently with my hand, but I'm going to press it down now. I'm going to work it with my grass cloth. I'm pushing on that seam. What I want to do is, see, when you're pushing, you're causing friction on it. And I'm not rubbing the seam with the grass cloth, I'm pressing it. There's a difference. If I were to rub this, no, do not do that. Don't rub it. What I'm saying is, it's going to be blue on blue. So I'm not taking any color off with my fingers. And I'm not leaving any oil from my fingers on the paper. You see what I'm saying? It's just a little trick just to get the best installation possible, you know? Again, you don't want your edges to be loaded up with glue, you know? It's a real something you really gotta take care of. No. Okay, check this out now. I'm at the top. The seam is like butting out on me. It's called standing proud. For those of you who do carpentry, you know what that term means. But even though you can't see me up here, I'm just telling you, it's just sticking out for about 2 inches. So what I did was, I put the paper over it and I rubbed over the paper. You know what I'm saying? Like I rubbed my patch rather than the grass cloth. I'm transferring that rubbing motion through the patch onto the grass cloth, and that's okay, because that's not going to mar your surface, okay? And look, I worked it in. It looks beautiful from up here, okay? So it worked. Now I'm just pushing in my corners. When I want to get large wrinkles out, I use my palm. I use the palm of my hand. Now, you can't see it, but I'm up here touching my damp cloth. I wet my hand a bit. I'm going to air dry it just a bit. I need traction. If my hand is not damp, I can't move this grass cloth. So don't be afraid to touch it with a lightly dampened hand. It's not going to. The water will not even penetrate the grass cloth. That's not what they're talking about when they say don't wet it. They're talking about rubbing this thing down with a wet cloth. That's something obviously you do not want to do. Yeah, there's a lot of manipulation up here. Now, what I need to do is to come back with some glue at the top, because I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied. I always say on my videos, if your wallpaper fails somewhere, it's going to be on your edges. Why get it called back and leave it too? Oh, it looks great, but it's coming off in the corner. Or if it's coming off at the top. That's where it fails. You know? So here we go again. And I'm using a special glue, 535 Romans. Like it's really tacky stuff. You know? Okay, let's see how that did now. Wiping off my hand again, because I got glue on it. All right, now, oh, perfect. Very nice. Yeah, I see that my paper is kind of like moving back. Wow. This really does a job on your wrists, you know, when you're pressing. Oops, I lost my patch. I could, if I wanted to, make another one from up here. There's a flap. There's an excess here. But you know what? I don't need it. Alright. Nice. You know, ideally, you don't even touch a grass cloth. I mean, ideally, in an ideal world, don't touch it. But obviously, can't do that. I'm just pressing in on my seam. It would be good if you could press down every linear inch of your seam, but don't rub it. Lift your finger up as you're doing it, because you will mar the surface. You'll make it shiny. All right? It can tolerate a little bit of this. It even says on the instructions, go side to side. Okay. What I'm doing is just feeling in general for any air pockets. I don't call them bubbles. It's really trapped air. And why do you get bubbles? Why do you get air pockets? The reason is they're necessary as part of this. The surface dries. Well, what is drying? Something is evaporating into the atmosphere. But since it's trapped under wall covering, it can't escape, right? So what's happening is it's getting trapped. And so you get a pocket. That's really what an air bubble is. It's a pocket of air, trapped. I mean, when you go to land your paper on the wall, you're pulling it up against air, right? And ideally, you work from one side to the other, pushing that air out. But if you don't do that, well, now you've trapped the air just from bringing the wall covering up against the wall. You got to get that air out. The wider, the smoother, the better chance you have of getting that air out. You know, because if it's not very wide, what it does is just goes around you smoother and stays trapped. All right. You understand all of that, though, right? Of course you do. See, wallpaper is in, and the only wallpaper YouTubes that you have out there are really old ones, for the most part. Not every single one, but for the most part, they're all old. The guys doing it are already gone. They're dead. It's kind of funny, you know? Because, and they weren't even YouTube videos that were made. They were guys who actually made videos. And wallpaper companies sold them, or, you know, had them playing where they sold wallpaper. Here, you can do this too. That kind of thing. Just to give people the idea. But actually, wallpaper is something like carpet. There are so many different wallpapers out there that are expensive. And my suggestion is, if you've never hung it, although you can do it but you need a certain tenacity. I don't just say, go ahead and do it, anybody can do it. Yeah, you can if you follow directions well. But listen, even if you follow directions, there's always something, even for the installer, like, oh, you know, you learn something new, you learn a better way. You don't want to be that guy. If you're spending $350 a roll, I should have done it this way, you know what I'm saying? On the other hand, you may not be able to afford an installer. Did he just touch the Grasscloth with a wet rag? No. It's damp. And I'm really skeptical about using the smoother on the wall cover. Look at what I'm doing. I'm really holding it practically flat against it's the least offensive way to smooth something out. It's like when you shave. If you were to come off your face shaving at like a 45, you'd probably cut your skin open. But what a shaver does, and what this is doing, if you hold it practically up against the wall, you don't allow these points to cut into the wallpaper, because it's like spreading butter. You know how you hold a knife when you're buttering something? That's how I'm holding this thing. Please don't do it at a 45 or at a 90. You know, you have a chance of scratching it because of these points. If you really want to be good at it, check this out. Take a palm sander, right? Have it spinning. Bring this up to, do it like a radius, and you'll have a rounded edge. And that goes for any of your smoothers. Take a palm sander spinning, go right up to it, and just keep rocking the corner back and forth. You'll wind up with a radius. What do I mean by that? A smooth edge. Just an idea if that's what you want to do. You know, to get rid of these pointy edges. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but you know what? I haven't done it yet. But I'm careful. I mean, I just want you to be careful with your installation. That's all. I'm trying to tell you, if you're inclined to be rough-handed. You know, none of this, you can't be rough-handed with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, if any of you wants to win a trip down to Florida, paid for by the Tampa Bay wallpaper installer, just put a comment in the section that says, I would like the free trip. And then I'll respond with, so would I. I'm only kidding. I'm not offering any free trip. I just figured I'd give you a little levity as I'm doing this frame. Okay, well, I know if I get a comment on that, you people are actually watching the whole video instead of piecemeal. I love my friends. Hey, I loved your video, yeah? Yeah, well, I mentioned you in it. You didn't say anything. Therefore, you didn't even watch it. I watched your video. Oh, thank you. I talked about you in it. Oh, yeah. You know what? I only watched 5 minutes of it, so. Oh, so you didn't watch the video. You said you watched it. You know what, folks? The top part, it's not being nice. So I'm being a little more aggressive with the top part. Pushing that in, gonna try to cheat here. What I'm doing is I'm moving the glue over, okay? That's what I just did. I pressed on it hard and I moved the glue over. Now that's risky when you're doing Grasscloth because it could come out the edge, but I'm watching like a hawk. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. And I'm going to show you the overall on the last video, okay? So I hope you like the video. This is Spencer, your Tampa Bay wallpaper installer. Do you want to contact me? 813-666-7002 or www.spencercolgan.com. Click on like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next one. I'll keep making these videos. And join me when I go to the Wallpaper Installers Association convention in, I believe it's Indiana. Coming up, we'll take some nice videos there, and I'll show you some of the finest wallpaper hangers in the United States of America. Some of them come, obviously not everybody can show, but a lot of the good second and third and fourth generation wallpaper hangers come to these meetings, and they're really talented people. I enjoy their company. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.